What up, YouTube? This is Boneyard Inc. and I'm doing a video of my 100 mile per hour Rustler setup. First, I'd like to start off by giving my shout outs. I got quite a few, so just give me a minute. Start with Three-Way Fighter, Big Tito 111, BJS Live 09, Draven 3907, Fat Boy 77 IST, Geo Stealth R1, J 317317, Jess 34753, John Nickel, John Racer X, Cavis L, Ken Jonathan, Killumanity 1, Las Vegas Ninjas 1117, Mr. MRT Mustang, Mumford 1, Musa 178, RC Speed Junkies, Rustler VXL 22, Sick Rustler 101, Speedy 2246, Suzuki Power 1976, The Absolute One, and Thomas Cerulli. And anybody else out there doing a fast RC setup, much props. This is awesome. So moving on, I'll show how I have my car set up. First, let's start off with the body. This body right here is the original body I got with my Rustler 2 years ago. Haven't changed anything. Let's see what I did to the body. I cut some air vents here, back here, and these air vents right here, these are actually skid marks. They're like natural air vents, so yeah. And this one too, just rubbed off. But yeah, man, this body is held up. It's so shitty, but it's so awesome because, you know, lots of memories or whatever. So moving on, I'll start with the front. The front of my car, I have Jayco foams for tires. Alright, you don't need hub adapters if you want to get Jayco foams. They fit right on there. For weight, I have about 1.5 pounds of weight or so. This right here, this is molding clay. And in here I have like big fishing weights, you know, like, yeah, fishing weights. It must be like sea fishing weights because they're friggin' enormous. Each one weighs 8 ounces. So I have that in the molding clay. I can take it on and off, which I like. Also, I have some more weight up here, just a couple ounces. You can get that stuff at the hobby store. My shocks, original shocks that came with the Rustler, they work great. Haven't had a problem with them except bending a bunch of them metal bars, but those can be replaced. I have the RPM front bumper, as you can see here. I think it's a RPM front bumper. Yes, it is. I have that on there, works great. This is original, the A-arms here. This mounting tower here, this is the original. The only thing I changed is I upgraded to some RPM, I don't know what they're called. But yeah, those are RPM right there. Let me see. I did upgrade to adjustable, these arms here that connect from, you know, from the steering to the tires. I got ones that are adjustable because I lowered my shocks in the front and rear. And when I lowered my shocks, when you get a bag of Traxxas parts, when you buy your Rustler, you get that that plastic thing with all the loose parts. There was a bunch of these little spacers and these. I don't know what they're for, but what I used them for is I took my shock apart, and inside of the shock I put some spacers in there and then put the shock back together, and it lowered my car. I did that in the front and the rear. And when I did that, my front tires were sitting like that from lowering my shocks. So what I did is I had to get the adjustable arms right here so that I could, you know, push the tire out and make it flat on the ground. I ran it for a long time with my front tires sitting like this, and it ran fine, but once I hit, like, you know, 90 some miles an hour, part of the tire ripped off because it wasn't touching the ground. So I got that. Let me see. I got the Castle Creations 2200 kV motor. I'm running two 3-cell battery packs. They are Venom 5035C batteries. This thing right here, that's an external 10 amp BEC. I had to get that soldered onto my speed control here because I went through 3 speed controls. Burned them out. Actually, they didn't really start fire, they just died. I think the problem is that, you see I have a gyro, it's the East Sky gyro. I use that for stability with my car. I have it hooked up to my steering servo, which is over here somewhere. The reason why I have an external BEC is because I think this thing right here has an internal BEC built into it, and it's not rated for as many amps as this, and I think that with my gyro in combination with my steering servo was pulling too many amps out of the internal BEC here in the speed control, so I kept frying them out. So ever since I put this on, I haven't gone through any more speed controls. I can run it all day long, friggin' do whatever I want with it, and no problem. So yeah, if you're running this setup with a gyro, you definitely want an external BEC for sure. Moving on, what else? This right here is a Garmin. You know, it's like a GPS thing that you have in your car, but it tells you how fast you're going and tells you your max speed. So I use this when I do speed runs. I got my Y connector here so I can plug in both of my two 3-cell battery packs to make it a 6-cell setup. I also have this right here. This is a temperature gauge. The motor, they say that it's not supposed to get over 180 degrees, which is super hot. But when I'm out doing speed runs, I like to test the temperature of the motor and stop it when it gets to about the 170s. Then I stop running it. Let me see. To get my batteries to fit in here, see the batteries that I got, the cord comes out the side and not out the top, which I wish it did. So I had to notch out some plastic back here in the rear. Yeah, I had to Dremel that out to get my battery to lay down there so I could get the wire to come out here. Some people do that in the front right here. They cut a notch in the plastic and put the battery the other way and have the wire come out here. What am I running for a receiver transmitter? I'm running the TQ Traxxas link. I can get it as basically as far as I want, and I never have any problems with, you know, reception. So this has worked the best for me. Also, if you have a TQ transmitter like that on the receiver, well, if you have a receiver with, you know, it's got the little metal tip on the end of the wire here, what you don't want to do is have it sticking up above the body of your car, because if you flip and crash and this little metal part gets ripped off, it cannot be replaced. You have to replace the whole receiver. It's not like you know, like old school antennas where you can rip it off and replace it. You cannot replace this. So just make sure, if you have it, make sure all the metal in that little wire is sticking straight up, and you keep it inside of the body of your car. I learned from my mistakes, so that's why I'm mentioning that. Let's see what I'm running for gearing. For gearing, I was running a 24 tooth pinion and a 36 tooth spur. With a 24 tooth and a 36, I was hitting 98 miles an hour consistently. But I just upgraded to this right here is a 30 tooth pinion and a 34 tooth spur. And I hit 104 miles an hour with no problem. I think I was going faster that day, but I flipped my car in my first run and cracked the screen on my Garmin. And so I only got to see how fast I went on my first run, 104. But I swear to God, what the runs I was doing later were much faster, but I couldn't prove it. So for now, we're just saying that I hit 104. So 30 tooth pinion, 34 tooth spur will get you 100 miles an hour with this motor. Also, to fit the 30 tooth pinion on here, there's not enough room back there for the motor to slide back. So I had a buddy drill out some extra room where the screw goes in on the bottom. So he had to drill out like almost to the edge so that this would slide over and fit this big ass pinion. And so yeah, that works great. In the rear, I got the what is this? A T-bone rear bumper. The thing I like about this bumper is not only does it look cool and it has these big like rubber squishy tires on the back, but that doesn't matter because when you're going 100 and you flip, it's not like these are going to keep your car from flipping upside down. But the thing I like about this the best is look at how wide it is. It totally protects the motor big time. Also, another cool thing about this rear bumper is that you can unscrew these screws and take off this whole plate that has the tires attached to it if you don't want the tire part on the back. So yeah, protects the motor real good. I got an Integy gearbox. They come in different colors, blue and silver as far as I know. That's the only ones, but you need this gearbox if you want this motor to fit on this car. You know, there's other gearboxes out there that will do the same, but this is one I got. Moving on. In the rear, I have the Slash heavy duty rear axles. They're basically the same ones as the Traxxas rear axles, except there's these little ball joints. The ball joints are like bigger balls. Big balls. They're bigger balls, so I don't know if they're really much better than the Traxxas Rustler ones, but yeah, Slash heavy duty rear axles. They're a little twisted right now. I'm sure that after, like, you know, 5 more speed runs, these things will break, but that's what I'm working with now. Also, this is an RPM rear shock tower because I broke my other one, so I got an RPM. Original shocks in the rear. I lowered them the same way I did the front ones. This is a RPM rear A-arm right here because I broke my other one, so anytime I break something, I just upgrade to RPM. Works fine. It's not a permanent solution because, you know, you're going to break shit no matter what kind of part you buy, but let me see here. I think that's about it. So this is my Rustler Mamba Monster setup. It goes over 100 miles an hour and it's awesome. Also, I'd like to throw in that I got the Onyx charger. Onyx 235 charger for my LiPo batteries. Works great. Haven't had any problems with that. I also tried for tires. I tried the XO1 tires on the rear of my Rustler, and no matter what I did to my car, lowered, higher, you know, lowered, made higher, the shocks, I tightened everything up in the back, you know, got a few new plastic parts in the back that hold everything together. I don't know the names of them, but made it fit real nice and tight on there with no wobbling. But for some reason, when I got to high speed, 70, 80 plus miles an hour, the car would wobble in the back pretty bad like this, like, whom. And it wasn't my gyro, because I unplugged my gyro and tried the XO1 tires. Same thing. Also, the RPM tires right here. Lots of people use them for the Rustler setup. I have the same problem with the wobble in the rear with the GRP tires. Other guys use them and don't have a wobble, but I can't get mine to do it without a wobble. Nonetheless, the Jayco foams work very well for me. Love them. I'm going to stick with the Jayco foams. Thanks for watching my video. If you have any questions, you can post a comment and I will get back to you, and hopefully I'd have an answer for you. Alright, peace.